topic, that is the complement system. The learning objective for this chapter are describe sequence of events when the classical pathway and the alternative pathway of the complement system is activated. Discuss the biological effects of the complement and describe complement deficiency and associated diseases. We learned about the immunity, where we have seen different types of immunity. One of the important immunity is the innate immunity. And the innate immunity is part of your, it is there since your birth, and you are belonging to the human race. And it is always present in every human being. And the complement system is also one of the important mechanism under the innate immunity. The complement system is an alarm and a weapon against infection, and especially the bacterial infections. It includes the serum and membrane bound proteins that function in both actually acquired and constitutive, that is natural or host defense system. The complement term was referred to the system of factors which occurs in normal serum and are activated characteristically by antigen antibody interactions and subsequently mediate a number of biologically significant consequences. You can see in this picture, it has been shown that virus is entering into the respiratory tract through nose, and there are lots of cells which get activated because the foreign body has introduced into the human body. So the lymphocytes will activate, T cells will activate, B cell will activate, they form the antibodies. T cell converted into killer cells, they will also take part in that. Macrophages, which I told you, one of the key role in the immune mechanism, innate immune mechanism. And you can see there is also one of the component of innate immune mechanism, that is complement, which also takes part in the innate immune mechanism. When challenged, the immune system has many weapons to choose. It depends upon whether it will choose the macrophage or it will choose the lymphocytes, and into lymphocytes, whether it choose the CD8 cells, CD4 cells, or mere only the antibodies, depending upon what type of invading pathogen is there and which immune mechanism or system will challenge that foreign body will be decided by your immune mechanism. So the complement is central to the development of inflammatory reactions. So this is one of the important component of inflammation. It is one of the important components of the inflammation. So that is why complement is also referred as a function as central to the development of inflammatory reactions. How it play a central role, we will learn subsequently. It was discovered in the 19th century, very recently, and then it is a heat labile component of serum. We know in serum antibodies are present, antigen is also present, various cells are also present. At the same time, complement also present in the serum as a heat labile. Heat labile, it get destroyed at the certain temperature. Till date, there are total 30 proteins have been discovered, and out of which C1 to C11, actually it is C9, and C1 is divided into three components, C1Q, C1R, and C1S. And total count, if you do, it comes to 11 proteins, 11 components of complement system. And they take part in a so beautiful mechanism, one after another, and to tackle the invading pathogen, that is bacteria. It is also a major immune defense system of our body. Overactivated or activated in wrong place may cause harm. This we know all. Anything is in excess will lead to harm. Anything which is in the limit or optimum, it will be beneficial. It involves in pathology of many diseases. As I said, there are 9 components of the complement and they have been designated as C1 to C9. And C1 is divided again into 3 components, different components, C1Q, C1R, and C1S. These components of complement will take part in a cycle to kill the bacteria invading pathogen. And this is conducted through different pathways. And there are 3 pathways which will take part or get activated when antigen antibody complexes are formed in the body. The first and foremost pathway is denoted as classical pathway, which is generally initiated by antibodies. Mainly the IgM is the key antibody which initiates the classical pathway. Also Ig1, Ig2, Ig3, IgE, IgA, all these antibodies will trigger the classical pathway or initiate the classical pathway. While alternative pathway these alternative pathway and lectin pathway does not require the initiation because of antibodies. They can also get initiated by the antigen, that is pathogens. So there are 3 pathways: classical pathway, alternative pathway, lectin pathway. Classical named is given because it is the what you can say compulsory pathway which is present in all the humans. When it is not, when there are certain components of complement which are lacking in that person, then there will be a activation of alternative pathway, or sometimes the classical pathway does not get initiated, then alternative pathway and lectin pathway will get initiated and they will take care of the invading pathogens. So we know now the components of complement are different proteins named C1 to C9, and C1 is divided into 3 components, that is C1Q, C1R, and C1S. And these complement come one after another and become activated once the antigen antibody complex is formed. And one component of the complement will act as an enzyme to the next component of the complement. For example, C1 will get activated the moment pathogen is inserted and antibodies bind to that pathogen, and that will initiate the complement pathway, that is classical pathway basically. And what happens in the classical pathway? Because of the antigen antibody complex, the C1QRS get activated and they have an enzymatic action onto C4. So actually after C1, C2 should have come, but here is the difference. After C1, C4 comes. That is what you have to remember in the classical pathway. After C1, C4 will come, and that C4 will get cleaved into 2 particles or 2 parts. One is the larger part and another one is the smaller part. The larger part will bind to the cascade and smaller part will release into the blood system to attract other cells at the invading pathogen, at the site of invasion, or the pathogen has been detected wherever in the body. So this is how one component of complement will act as an enzyme on the another component of the complement, and this pathway goes on until they form a pin-like structure which will pierce into the cell membrane and making the larger pores. And because of that larger pore formation, whatever the nutrients, ingredients are there in the cytoplasm, protoplasm, they will come out including water, and there will be the lysis of the bacterial cell. This is a pathway starting with the antigen antibody complex which activates C1 and leads to various enzymatic action on each other and they form a pin-like structure that is also called as membrane attaching complex, will form a hole onto the cell membrane, and that hole is very large, because of which whatever the watery substances inside the protoplasm, all including entire protoplasm, will come out. And once the water comes out of these protoplasm, the cell will automatically lyse. So this is the principle of complement system. It is a cascade system. The complement works as a cascade system. Cascade is when one reaction triggers another reaction, which triggers others, and so on. So C1 will trigger the C4, C4 will trigger the C2, C2 will trigger the C3, and so on till C9, one after another. The previous component of the complement will act as an enzyme onto the next component of the complement, which cleaves that component into two parts. One is the larger part, and second one is the smaller part. The larger part is denoted as B. The smaller part is denoted as A. The B stands for binding. So everywhere B comes, which is a larger part, will bind to the cascade. Only exception is C2. When C2 is divided, C2A will bind and C2B will be released. These are the two things which you need to remember when a classical pathway is described or discussed. What is the difference? Antigen antibody complex initiate the C1 QRS, which will act as an enzyme onto the C4. There C2 is not coming. Now what is coming? C4. The C4 will be divided into C4A and C4B. The C4A will be released, which is a smaller molecule, into the blood system or lymphatic system, and C4B will bind to the cascade. So B stands for binding. After this C1, C4B, which act as an enzyme onto the C2. Now C2 will be divided into two parts, C2A and C2B. Here is the second difference. What is that second difference? Instead of B binding to the cascade, it is released. That is a smaller molecule. And C2 is a larger molecule, which will be binding to the cascade. Now C1, C4 and C2A will act as a C3 convertase, which will cleave the C3 into C3A and C3B. Now C3B will bind to the cascade and C3A will be released into the blood system. What is the function of the smaller particle? It will act as a chemoattractant. What do we mean by chemoattractant? It will attract other cells at the invading site where the pathogen has been detected. So this is how our innate immune mechanism works. So what is the cascade now? Cascade is when one reaction triggers the another reaction, which triggers another reaction, and so on. These types of systems can grow exponentially very fast. Now, what is the summary of the activators? Who are the different activators of the different pathways? That is classical, lectin, and alternative pathway. If you look at the classical pathway, the activators are immunoglobulins. Initially, immunoglobulins will activate the classical pathway. Lectin pathway does not require the immunoglobulins to get initiated. Alternative pathway, yes, immune complexes containing IgG, IgA, or IgE. These are the, here you don't see IgM, okay? But in the classical pathway, you see predominantly first as a IgM, which is the recent infection, which denoting it as a recent infection because IgM comes first and disappears first. So the IgM will bind to the antigen and that will activate the classical pathway. But lectin pathway does not require any immunoglobulins. It will directly activated by the viruses. Okay, that is the important difference between the different pathways. There are certain viruses which will activate the classical pathway, such as HIV and other retroviruses. Then bacteria also activate the lectin pathway, specifically gram-positive and then gram-negative. And the alternative pathway, many gram-positive and gram-negative organisms will also activate the alternative pathway. And there are certain other organisms which will be responsible for activation of various pathways. Now, what are the different functions of the complement? Chemotaxis, as I already told you. What does it mean? It attracts the other immune cells at the invading site. That is the main function of complement. Second, it helps in opsonization and cell activation. Now, what is the opsonization? I think we discussed the capsule in our morphology. What is the function of capsule? It escapes the phagocytosis. Now, does it mean that our immune system will sit idle? No. There is a alternatives. There are other people, other cells which will take part in that option of the phagocytosis. And how it will be done? The complement will bind to that antigen, will bring it to the macrophages, and the macrophages will engulf, opsonize that antigen, and it will kill. It also activates different cells. Okay, the complement will, when bind to a certain cell, the cells will get activated and they start this releasing the various chemokines. So cell activation takes place, or activation will be helpful to those cells to kill those bacteria. They'll get activated because of the complement. Of course, it also helps in direct lysis of that target. Sometimes, if nothing comes immediately at the site of invasion, what will happen? The complement will start destroying that antigen or pathogen. It also helps in priming of the adaptive immune response. You can see here in the pictorial form what are the different functions complement does. It will tell you all the functions in one slide. You can see here in the first part to the left, lysis occurs because of the binding of that complement to the target cell, and directly lysis occurs. Opsonization, it will bind to the bacteria, it will be taken to the phagocytic cells to get engulfed and get killed. And the third is activation of inflammatory response. See here, the complement receptor which are there will activate different cells, and the degranulation will takes place, or sometimes the extra vascularization is also takes place from the tissue and blood, and those cells will get activated to take care of that antigen. And it also helps in the clearance of immune complexes. So these are the different functions which will be carried out by the complement. Now you look at the classical pathway. The classical pathway is considered to be part of the specific immune response because it relies on antibodies to initiate it. It is very important to get activated. The antibodies must be there. Antibody must bind to the antigen. You can see here in the picture, the microbe is shown, bacilli is shown, and on the surface of the bacilli, there are smaller antigens. And these antigens are bound with the antibodies Y shape. You can see here. And then to this antigen antibody complex, the C1 molecule will attach and it will activate C4. So C1 becomes activated when it binds to the ends of the antibodies. Now here you can see in the picture, classical pathway and alternative pathway has been shown. In the classical pathway, you can see the sequence. C1 will activate C4 and C4A will be released and C4B will be binding to the cascade. Next, C1, C4 will activate on the act on the C2. It will divide into C2A and C2B. C2A is binding and C2B is released. This is the only difference. Then C1, C4, C2 will act as a C3 convertase, which cleaves this C3 molecule into C3A and C3B. C3B will be binding to the cascade and C3A will be released into the blood system. This C1, C4, C2, C3A will act on C5. This C5 will be cleaved into two particles, C5A and C5B. C5B will be binding to the cascade and C5A is released. Similarly, 6, 7, 8 and 9 comes every time. C6A, C7A, C8A and C9A is released, and C6B, C7B, C8B and C9B will binding to the cascade. B stands for binding. So what happens? This C1 to C9 molecule will form a pin-like structure and they pierce a hole onto the bacterial surface, and because of which all the nutrients, all the entire water which is there in the protoplasm will come out and there will be lysis. Alternative pathway. Alternative itself is telling you the name that it is the alternative to the classical pathway. What happens? Certain people, they do not have these C1, C4 and C2. So they have factor A and factor B and factor D. So if people does not have these components of complement C1 to C4, C2, what happens? The C3 will get activated by two factors, factor B and factor D. Again, similarly, factor B and factor D will cleave into factor BA-BB or DA-DB. So B is binding to the cascade and the A is releasing into the blood system. That will activate the C3. Rest of the pathway is similar. In the alternate pathway, you don't have C1 to C2, including C4. That's why it's called as alternative. And it will activate directly C3. So C3 is the central dogma of the classical pathway or alternative pathway. C3 has to be there. So since C3, C5, C6, C7, C8, C9 are similar in both the pathway. Only difference is in the classical pathway, you have C1, C4, C2 at the initial stage, which is lacking into the alternative pathway. The alternative pathway, C3 is there, which cleaved into C3b and C3a. Then factor B and factor D will come. They will form a C3 convertase, and that will attack on C5, C6, C7, C8, and C9. Again, it forms a pin-like structure, and it will take care of the forming of the hole, and the entire protoplasm will get emptied. And because of that, loss of water means death, cellulosis. So what are the biological effects of complement? It mediates the immunological membrane damage. It amplifies the inflammatory response. It participates in pathogenesis of certain hypersensitivity reactions, which we will be learning tomorrow. Hypersensitivity reactions are the most commonly seen in people who lack or who have the activated immune response, exaggerated immune response, exaggerated inflammatory response, or exaggerated complement response. And that is one of the biological effects of complement, which takes part into pathogenesis of the certain hypersensitivity reaction, mainly the type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. It exhibits the antiviral activity. So it is one of the important antiviral agent in the host. It promotes phagocytosis and immune adherence, which we have seen in the earlier slide. It interacts with the coagulation, fibrinolytic, and kininogenic system of blood. It helps in that also. Now, what are the inhibitors and inactivators? Even though you have all the components of the complement, but there are certain inhibitors or inactivators which will not allow to activate these components. So C1 ion is one which inhibits the C1. Factor I and factor H are also inhibitors or act as an inactivators, and anaphylatoxin inactivators are also present, which will inactivate certain components of the complement. Now, how will I come to know or quantify the complement and its complement in the body? We have seen the antibodies are quantified with the help of serological reactions in the previous lecture by ELISA, complement fixation test, and all that. Similarly, the quantification or quantitation of complement and its complement can be measured by estimating the highest dilution of serum lysing sheep erythrocytes sensitized by anti-erythrocytic antibody. So that will tell you the titer of that serum, which will be telling you that this much amount of complement or complement is present in the serum. It can be quantified by radial immunodiffusion in the agar, which we have seen in the antigen antibody reactions also. Now, this is very important. Who will biosynthesize which components of the complement? This you will remember. I'll give you the one trick also to how to remember these components, where it will be biosynthesized. The intestinal epithelium, it is I. If you write in a Roman letter, it is 1. So C1, I, intestinal epithelium. This is how you should remember. C1, intestinal epithelium. I, intestinal epithelium. I is 1 in Roman lipid. So it is C1. Now, it is a table of 2. C2, C4. 2 is a table. C2, C4. It is by macrophages. Okay. C2, C4 are 2. It's a 2 table, and it is generally biosynthesized by macrophages. Now we go to the last one directly. So 3 is a table. It's a table of 3. 3 3s are 3 2s are 6. 3 3s are 9. So C3, C6, C9 are biosynthesized in liver. And how will you remember the 3 table with the liver? Liver is the vital organ of the body, vital G1. So there you can remember that it is a 3 stable and 2 stable in the macrophages. What remains? Spleen. It's a dead organ, or it is also called as graveyard. You might have heard in the last lecture, immune structure and function of immune system. Spleen is a graveyard. Everything is stored there. So C5 and C8. So this is how you have to remember. C1, intestinal epithelium. C2, C4 macrophages, C5, C9 spleen, and C3, C6, and C9 will be biosynthesized in liver. Remember, you will be remember this. How, I mean, what are the different components and how, where they biosynthesize, and how to remember it. Okay, clinical syndromes associated with the genetic deficiency of the complement system. As I told you in the previous slide, there are people who do not have C1, C2, C4, or they may not have C3, or they may not have some other components of the complement. So what happens if they do not have these different components of the complement? If a person lacking C1 inhibitors, those are very vulnerable to the syndromes like hereditary angioneurotic edema. Okay, the one which is lacking C1 inhibitors, they will be prone to hereditary angioneurotic edema. The early components of the classical pathway, C1, C2, and C4, if they are lacking or deficient in a person, that person is likely to be suffering from the syndromes like systemic lupus erythematosus, SLE, and other collagen vascular diseases. Okay, and if a person is lacking C3 and its regulatory protein C3b inactivated, then that person is very prone to severe recurrent pyogenic infections, mainly bacterial infections.